Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda.
Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda.
Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda.
Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda.
Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda.
Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda.
Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Yes. So this prayer is coming from Chaitanya Charitamrita, where we have the most information about the tattva or philosophy about Advaita Acharya. So usually in our circles we have a system where we hear the philosophy, and then after we will hear the stories. Yeah. Or in other words, we hear tattva before we hear lila. And there is a specific reason why it is like this. Because if we hear lila first, then we may misunderstand, which is unfortunately very common. People hear Krishna lila, they hear Ram lila, and they have many questions, and they may even accuse, why is Krishna doing this? And that is because they haven't studied the tattva. So in order for us not to make the same mistake with Advaita Acharya, we are going to get very clear the tattva of Advaita Acharya, which is explained very nicely. Yeah. So you're always welcome to ask questions as we speak. This can be kind of interactive. It doesn't need to be that I just speak for 1 hour and after it is questions, because you're going to cover a lot of things. So you can ask while we are speaking. Yeah. So first of all, let's see about Advaita Acharya's life. He was born in 1434. Anybody remember when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was born?
1486.
Yes. So how many years before Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? Those are good in maths.
45.
Huh?
45.
45?
34 to 86.
52, yeah. So Advaita Acharya, on our Panchatattva picture, who is the old man? Advaita Acharya, yeah. He's the old man, okay? He was already 52 years when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was born. Yeah. When Advaita Acharya was born, guess who was also born? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's father, Jagannath Mishra. So he's a contemporary. He lived for 125 years. He passed away in 1559. Yeah. So oldness is a characteristic of Advaita Acharya. Yeah. He had a great father, Shri Kuvera Pandit, who was a great Brahmana. The place he was born was Navagram in Bengal. Actually now it's northeast Bangladesh, a place which is called Sylhet. Yeah. But at that time it was part of India where he was born. Yeah. So it's a pilgrimage place. One can go there and visit. So and his mother was Srimati Nabha or Labha Devi, and Kuvera and his wife, they had I think they got 8 children, and the last child was he wasn't born with the name Advaita Acharya. That was given to him later. There's very few children who are born with the name Acharya. Yeah. So he had to earn it. Yeah. Just like usually also nobody is born with the name Pandit or Guru or. So these are things that happen in the course of life, that people are getting such epithets. Like Prabhupada, he got the name Prabhupada later, for your information. Yeah. Before it was Abhay Charan De. Yeah. So in the same way, Advaita Acharya's name was Kamala Laksha. Yeah. Kamalaksha. Yeah, it means lotus-eyed. Yeah. So so he was a very bright child. He when he was young, he went to study under a great scholar in a nearby town, and he was such a great student. I think his teacher was Santa Acharya. Yeah, so he studied the Vedas under him, and he earned then the title Acharya because he was such a great student. And he started his own school. So in other words, he became guru and he had disciples because he was so learned in the scriptures. Similar way we hear about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as Nimai Pandit. He also, in a young age, he becomes, a scholar, and he starts his own school, right? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had his own school. So, school in those days, it wasn't that you have to erect a big building and get, support from the government and, all the paperwork. And no, it was much more simple. It's called Gurukul also. It's just, in the house of the guru, then the students start. And it's not too many. It's just like, I think usually it's just like 12 or so, not so many. Yeah. Anyway, so Advaita Acharya, he actually became one of the greatest brahmanas. And the place he was living, it was in the Nadia district. It's called Shantipura. So Shantipur is because of Advaita Acharya living there, a very holy place. Yeah, very, very holy place. Anybody been to Shantipur? Yeah?
Yeah, festival.
This festival there. We will talk about that later also. There is a great festival in Shantipur. I also was there, now it's 15 years ago. There's the distribution of prasadam there. Yeah. So, at the time when Advaita Acharya, when his father was passing away, then also he had a Shraddha ceremony like that. I think around the same time no, actually before, yeah. He met Madhavendra Puri. Yeah, you heard about Madhavendra Puri? He's a great spiritual master of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And so he took initiation from Madhavendra Puri. Yeah, that's why I wanted to mention that, because on Madhavendra Puri's appearance day, the Vyasa Puja day, Madhavendra Puri, then Advaita Acharya has a great festival where he's distributing prasadam like anything. So that's actually the festival we are celebrating now in Iskcon, because the descendants of Advaita Acharya, they asked Iskcon actually, now it's many years ago, maybe 30, 40 years ago, they asked if Iskcon could take over this celebration because they had kind of fallen out. So Iskcon took over this celebration. So on Madhavendra Puri's appearance day, then there is a great festival with a lot of distribution of prasadam to thousands of people. Yeah.
But there is a specific reason for the. I think it's a statement by Lord Chaitanya.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Yeah, I think I heard that also.
And he said that anyone who served prasadam
On this day. Yeah.
He will go back to the
Right.
Therefore, they have a system that every devotee they get a pot. That's the whole thing.
Yeah.
You get like a bucket with prasadam and you go and
Yeah.
before you take prasadam.
That's the thing. This was also when I was there. No, usually devotees they sit down and eat, but at this festival we don't sit down and eat. We all just serve. Devotees are cooking enormous amounts of prasadam. I remember it's the biggest pots I ever saw. You could stand down in the pot.
Yeah.
And it's very simple. It's just khichdi.
And chutney.
And chutney also, yeah. And it's thousands and thousands. It's all the local village people. They're coming and sitting down. And they are actually served. Yeah. So it's very wonderful. And in that way we are making spiritual progress. Yeah, so I didn't remember that statement, but when you say it, I actually remember it. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave especially the blessing that those who serve prasadam there at Advaita Acharya's prasadam festival, they are going back to Godhead. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, so this is a very wonderful festival, the Shantipur yearly festival. Yeah. So Advaita Acharya, he was actually the leader of all the brahmanas in Nadia district, in Shantipur, specifically that city. And he was actually one of you who actually understood, the conclusion of the scriptures. And many of the other brahmanas, they didn't actually understand that. Most of them didn't understand. People in general were not very interested in bhakti. They were more, like impersonalists, like that. So Advaita Acharya was very sad for that, and that's why after some time he sat down and he, started meditating. Actually, he discovered a very nice verse in the Gautamiya Tantra. How is that verse going in? Tulasida lamatrena jalasya chulukena va vikrinite svam atmani bhakti bhyo bhaktavatsalaha. So how can you become bhaktavatsala, or like bhaktavatsala means that Krishna he becomes a servant of his devotees. And how does Krishna become like that? He gives himself to his devotees. If you offer tulsi and Ganga water, an offering of tulsi mixed with Ganga water, if you offer that to the Lord, then he became purchased by you. This is one statement in the Shastra, which Advaita Acharya was reading while he was, contemplating and thinking like this. And then actually he started doing that for weeks and weeks and months. And I don't know if you heard, but Advaita Acharya is famous for roaring. He's called, the lion, but he's called like the great lion, Mahasima, So he was roaring, calling, please appear. He was calling Krishna, please take your incarnation, like that. And indeed, then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu he appeared after some time. But Advaita Acharya he didn't get to really know it before later, when actually the first pastime of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is also he's just, you can say, a normal boy, yeah. Until he also gets the Krishna prema from the same lineage as Advaita Acharya already got it. So actually Advaita Acharya he was before Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to receive the Mahabhava or the great Krishna prema, which actually was manifested first in Madhavendra Puri. So it's explained very nicely in the Chaitanya Bhagavat that Advaita Acharya he was he was unhappy that the whole world was bereft of bhakti for Vishnu or for Krishna. In the same way, Madhavendra Puri was also very unhappy for that, although they got it themselves. How was it again? Madhavendra Puri he was bringing, this story about Madhavendra Puri is bringing sandalwood from Vrindavan to Puri, right?
No, he came from Vrindavan to Puri.
The other way.
From
From
Puri.
Puri to Vrindavan, yeah. And on the way, he's passing through Shantipur. It's like on the way there. So somehow or other he was, passing through a town, and then he just, by chance, he met Advaita Acharya. Yeah. Is it correct?
Sandalwood didn't go all the way to Vrindavan. It just came to Shira, Chora, Gopinath.
Yeah, actually, yeah. So he eventually didn't actually reach there. But anyway, that was his mission, yeah, of Madhavendra Puri, to get that sandalwood, because he had been ordered by Lord himself. Yeah. It's an amazing story. Yeah, so in that way, somehow or other he went through that city, and Advaita Acharya, he met him. And they both had, the same wavelength, yeah. They were both contemplating, they were sad that, the whole world is bereft of devotion to Krishna. They were actually sad that people are, actually, they're not actually happy because they don't have Krishna Bhakti. And so, when he met Madhavendra Puri, I'll try and read this. So Madhavendra Puri, he had actually decided to go to the forest and live in the forest, because he said, the forest is a better place to live because I do not have to speak with non-devotees there. So sometimes, when devotees are very, very high level, they want to isolate themselves from the non-devotees. So we may not have that problem so much. It's not actually a problem. It's one of the symptoms of a very, very ecstatic, elevated devotee. If we feel like we want to isolate ourselves from others, it may not be because this ecstasy. It may be just because of just feeling disturbed by the klesha, what is it called? Adibautika klesha, the troubles from all the living entities. But that's not the same as Madhavendra Puri was experiencing. So Bhautika means all the living entities who has bodies. This is one of the troubles we have in the material world, to be disturbed by other people. And then you have Adhyatmika Klesha, where you're disturbed by our own mind, our own body. And then you have Adhidaivika Klesha, to be disturbed by demigods. They give all the karma and the weather and everything. These disturbances are not actually happening in the life of the Uttama Bhaktas, such as Madhavendra Puri. But he just wanted to be absorbed in Krishna consciousness. So if he wanted to speak with anybody, he wanted to speak with somebody who is interested in being a devotee. So while he was unhappily contemplating this way, by the will of the Supreme Lord, he met Advaita. Advaita Acharya was greatly unhappy to see the entire world devoid of devotional service to Vishnu. Still, by the mercy of Krishna, the lion-like Advaita always preached the devotional service of Vishnu with firm determination. He constantly taught Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. He taught that devotional service was the purport of these two literatures. So I'm reading now from Chaitanya Bhagavat, Antyakanda, Part 1. So similarly to Chaitanya Charitamrita, the Chaitanya Bhagavat is also like in 3 parts. It's Adi Lila, Madhya Lila, and Antya Lila, or Antyakanda. It's called just a little different. The first, middle, and the end, like that. So in that way, there is like this progression in the time, so chronologically, all these pastimes are going on. But there is one point I want to address here, because this may be mind blowing for you. It is actually that why are we into Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita? Why is this the thing with Gaudiya Vaishnavas? Well, that is because of Advaita Acharya. Because who was studying other Advaita Acharya? All the Gaudiya Vaishnavas. He was the start of the whole thing. Because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, as a child, Vishwambar, he was going also, because Advaita Acharya, he daily was having the classes. Every morning he had Bhagavatam, and maybe even in the evening he had Bhagavad Gita. Daily he was giving, teaching, and all the village was coming. He said that even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, was coming as a child before, he became, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, just as Nimai. Because Shantipur is, in the Nadia district. It's not too far away from it's a little bit away, but sometimes they go there. Yeah.
No, he lived also in Navadvipa.
It is in Navadvipa.
No,
he moved a little after.
Later he moved to Shantipur.
I see. Okay.
Advaita Bhavan is just close by.
Yeah, that's also, I never understood this, because
down the road from where Chaitanya.
he actually had the 2 living places. Because we also hear that he had a living place in Vrindavan. So actually he had several houses. He was probably well-to-do. Yeah. Actually, his father was the father of Advaita Acharya was, the purohit or priest for the king. So he probably was well paid. So he was from a rich family. He could afford to have more houses. There's this famous story that Advaita Acharya was a child. And the king of Shantipur, he was Shakta worshipper. He worshipped Durga Devi. Yeah. So it was time for the Durga Puja, the Durga festival. And the father of Advaita Acharya, he was doing the puja, and he bowing down. He was following everything, praying to Durga, and So they brought Advaita Acharya there as a child, and Advaita Acharya was just maybe 5, 6 years old. And then he asked, and the king was there, so please bow down, to Durga. And Advaita Acharya, he didn't want to bow down. He didn't want, and they tried to, what are you doing? You're. Actually, it was the prince of the king, the son of the king, the prince, was inviting actually Advaita Acharya to join, the Durga Puja. And reluctantly, Advaita Acharya, he came there. But he didn't want to bow down, and then, the father had to try and coax him into bowing down, and, and he just bow down once, just one time, And okay, Advaita Acharya said, okay, this may not be, a good result. So it's okay, so then he bowed down. And what happened was that, the Durga deity, which was there, just burst into pieces. And everybody got shocked, It's very inauspicious, And actually, it's later explained, I don't remember which of the books, but it explained there that Advaita Acharya was thinking, because we will get into that now, but, the tattva. Because Advaita Acharya, He's actually Sadashiva and Mahavishnu combined. So Advaita Acharya, he was thinking that, my wife, because Durga is, Shiva's wife, she will not tolerate that I am bowing down to her, because the wife of Lord Shiva, she always view him as is completely superior. So she is so humble, she will not tolerate that, that the husband is bowing down to her. So she would just, burst into pieces, as a result. Yeah. Yeah. So in that way, So after that, they moved away. Actually, maybe after that they actually moved into Navadvip area. They moved out of Shantipur. Yeah, probably you're right.
No,
Something like that. Yeah.
No, but he grew up. You said he was born in Bengal.
Yeah.
Maybe that was the place where your father was the king.
It was in Shantipur, as far as I understand. Yeah, it's even giving a few different versions from some of the different books. It's a little Anyway, we kind of have some concept. It was this area everything happened. It was Navadvip area, which is called Navadvip today. Yeah, it was called Nadia before. That was the most scholarly place in whole India. All the great brahmanas were there. So, it was a great place of learning. And in that way we can see how Lord has arranged, how Krishna has arranged, that it is a very, proper, what do you call, like scientific knowledge is there in place for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's appearance. So that people, always when there is, incarnation like that, it needs to be very much established according to Tattva. Otherwise, people will criticize, people will say, because today, there are so many people who claim to be incarnation of Krishna, incarnation of, Shiva or whatever. But this was very, very properly established by Advaita Acharya actually being the main Brahmana of all who was there, most learned scholar. And there are, it's all backed up by the scriptures like this, that the Lord indeed is going to have an incarnation, in the Kali Yuga, a hidden incarnation, Chana Avatar, to teach, how to be a devotee, like that. So let's just look at the tattva of Advaita Acharya. Yeah. So the tattva of Advaita Acharya is as follows: that he is a combination of Sadashiva and Mahavishnu. So it has been explained like this, and please, bear with me. It may be a little complex, but I think we can understand it. I mean, I used a little time to think about this also to understand it, but it makes sense. So why is it two people? Yeah. He has two he has two personalities in himself. He's both Sadashiva and Mahavishnu. But Mahavishnu and Sadashiva is quite related, actually. Quite related. Because in the creation of the universe, of the material universe, you have Mahavishnu. He's, he is glancing on the material world. And with his glance, he's impregnating. Yeah? Saikshata ekabhausham. Said in the books, he's looking at the material universe, and by his look he's impregnating, and all the living entities are coming there. But it's explained what is that glance. That glance is actually it becomes actually Lord Shiva, because Lord Shiva is actually a person who actually do it. You can say Mahavishnu is just directing, he's giving the order, you can say, through his glance, and then the person who actually doing the work, it is Sadashiva. And it said that in a specific form, he's called Kala. It's a time. Shiva is called Kala, and his wife, Kali. Yeah? Yeah, makes sense? So that way, they are actually, operating. By their union, all the people are being born, actually, in different bodies. So they are, Lord Shiva and Durga, they are our original mother and father, actually, in the material world, in that way. Yeah. So what is happening is actually now. So Mahavishnu, he is what is called nimitta karana. So in logic, you have two causes. The science of cause, karana. So you have nimitta karana. It means the efficient cause or instrumental cause. We'll try and explain this so everybody understands. So I also understand. So it means the person who kind of shapes things. Yeah. And then the other kind of cause, it is called the upadana karana. and that is the ingredient cause. Yeah, it's like the ingredient. And the good example has been given that you have, how do you make a pot? So you have earth or clay. Is it called clay? Gjørme, or whatever you make pot with. Yeah? You have that. So that is the material. Everybody understand? That's material. So that is the the material cause. Or you can say, or you can say the ingredients. Yeah. So you need this clay to make the pot. Otherwise you cannot make the pot, right? But can you have a pot with only that? No, you need somebody who shape it. So that's the instrumental cause. That's the nimitta karana. Somebody who actually go there and take the clay and shape it. So in that way you have two causes, because you can say you cannot have a pot without having clay. You wouldn't have a pot. And you also will not have a pot without having the pot maker or the potter. So in other words, in all causes you have two. You have the ingredient and you have the actual, shaper or doer. So in the same way with this material world, you have Mahavishnu. He is, the one who gives, or who actually, who actually shaped by his, energy, things are shaped. And then you have Sadashiva. He's just like the ingredient cause, you can say. Shiva is doing. Shiva is like used to do it by, the chief, and the chief is Mahavishnu. You understand? It's because of Mahavishnu that it actually happened, and Shiva is just molded by Vishnu. And there is another example which I heard, which actually makes it even more understandable. You have the judge. The judge is saying to the policeman, "You do this. Go and take the criminal." Right? So who is actually the cause? It's the judge. He's the actual cause, and the policeman is just executor. So in that way, the judge, he can tell the policeman do this or do that. He can tell him release him, imprison him. The policeman is just shaped, by the judge, right? Yeah. He can tell the policeman to do whatever he wants him to do. So in the same way, Lord Shiva is just acting under agency of Mahavishnu. So in that way, we can understand, both Mahavishnu and Sadashiva is both there in Advaita Acharya. That's how it's been explained. So Advaita Acharya, he's both nimitta karana and upadana karana. Yeah, upadana karana. Yeah. So that was the philosophy for today. Yeah. Does it make sense? Yeah. It's complex, but in other sense, it's also understandable. Yeah. So he's a very specific personality, and what was Advaita Acharya's mission? Just in one line. Yes, Mahabharata.
To bring down Lord Chaitanya.
Yes, to bring down Lord Chaitanya. Exactly. He has actually a name for that. Let's see what is called. It's called Gaur Ana Thakur. Yeah. He who brought Gaura. He who brought Gaura here. Yeah. Gaur Ana Thakur. Yeah. And also Chaitanya Mahaprabhu at one point he calls him also Nada. And that's also then he's addressing him as the one who woke up, who woke him up, so that he can come and take the incarnation. Yeah. So it's very mind-boggling that actually by the roar of Advaita Acharya, he was roaring, please come, please come. He was worshipping for many months, all his emotions. He was crying, please appear. The whole world is filled with atheism. There are no devotees here. You have to come and make people actually happy in chanting your holy name like this. And because of the roar of Advaita Acharya, then eventually Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared. Yeah. So let's see. Let's see. So when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared, he was coming as a child, and he had his whole pastime where he didn't reveal who he was. But when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when the father of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu died, how old was Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then? he went to Gaya to have a Shraddha ceremony for his father, Jagannath Mishra. And then in Gaya he met Ishvarapuri. Yeah, also by chance, you can say, but of course there was a divine arrangement. And Ishvarapuri, now we come to the interesting thing. Ishvarapuri is the disciple of Madhavendra Puri. Yeah. And how's the story again? I think, Ishvarapuri actually initiated him there. And he actually whispered the Hare Krishna Mahamantra into the ear of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And after Chaitanya Mahaprabhu received the Mahamantra, he just became ecstatic, completely transformed his whole, being. And when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came back, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is running the school, Brahmana school, he was teaching Sanskrit to students. But after that, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was so ecstatic, what did he do? He started teaching the Sanskrit only with Krishna's names. Yeah? So that's why we have this Vyakaran or the grammar. Jiva Goswami later made the grammar, based on Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's style of teaching after he became, a disciple. Yeah. So, for example, I can give an example how he was teaching. That you have, he said, for example, the short, syllable, like a, in Sanskrit there is short and long syllables. So, that he called Vamana. Vamana is a dwarf, so he's short. But what happened when Vamana, he starts taking his steps, then he becomes Trivikrama, then he becomes enormous, right? Then he becomes enormous, he takes over the whole universe. So in that way he said, that the long syllable, that is Trivikrama. Short syllable is Vamana. Yeah. So he just used, names of Krishna to just explain the grammar. So people thought, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu became crazy, only Krishna here, Krishna there. It's like with all this teaching. Yeah. So this was the effect. And then, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu even went further. He started preaching, traveling around preaching. So at one point, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he had his Mahaprakash Leela. Where he's showing who he is. He's showing... How you know more than me about this Leela. He gives the identity to his different servants. You are actually this person, in the spiritual world, like that. And he was, actually where the whole revelation started and the real chanting in the street started. It started in Srivas Thakur's place, yeah, Srivas Acharya. When we chanted Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivas. This is the Srivas we're talking about. Srivas Acharya, yeah, or Srivas Pandit, Srivas Thakur. Srivas Acharya is maybe the most usual, you call him. Yeah, so in the house of Srivas Angam, then they started dancing. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nityananda was there, and they for 3 days they were chanting without sleeping or eating, and they became so ecstatic. So after that, they actually went out on the street and had the first Nagar Sankirtan, street Harinam, yeah. And after that, the snowballs just started rolling, and everybody in the village started, becoming ecstatic, and it just spread all over, in the gradually, So, Advaita Acharya, he was, how was that again? Yeah. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he is, he's the Lord, so he knows whatever is happening. So he actually called, he asked, Srivas' brother, Ramai, yeah? He asked Srivas' brother Ramai, please can you go and get Advaita Acharya? And Ramai, he didn't know, who is this Advaita Acharya? Some or other he found him, in Shantipur. He asked him to come, but Advaita Acharya, he wanted to test. He wanted to test the Lord, to see if he actually was the Lord. It's just Leela, So Advaita Acharya said, no, but just tell him that I didn't want to come. And instead, Advaita Acharya hid at the house of, what was the name? One of the other associates of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. His name was, I forgot his name. But he was hiding in the house. I think his name was Nanda, yeah. And he hid in his house. And then Nimai, he went back. Ramai, he went back and told Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, I'm sorry, he didn't want to come. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, oh, he's just, he just decided to test me. Yeah, Nanda Acharya's house. That's where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was hiding. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, this Advaita Acharya, he has decided just to test me. I know where he is. He's hiding at Nanda Acharya's house. So go there, and tell him that I know what's happening. Ask him to come. So then, Ramai went to Nanda Acharya's house and told, that the order of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was there, and then Advaita Acharya became completely ecstatic. Because some or other Chaitanya Mahaprabhu knew that he was hiding there. So then he came there to Srivasa's house. He saw Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He just paid full dandavats. And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he commanded Advaita Acharya to what? What did he command him to do? To get up and dance. Hari Hari Bol. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he just commanded Advaita Acharya, dance. Advaita Acharya just danced in ecstasy. Old man, he was already 52 years older than Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Since Advaita Acharya, he was so advanced, he was the great leader of the Brahmanas. All the Brahmanas, they started criticizing, Advaita Acharya because he was just, he actually didn't care what other people's opinions were, because he knew actually the tattva, like that. We can take a few stories. Haridas Thakur, he also came into the scene, at one point. It's not so clear, how he entered. The stories about Haridas Thakur, you don't have like the full, it's a little bit subtle, as far as I understand. If anybody can fill in, you can help me. But some or other, he was born in a Muslim family, and some or other, he met the devotees and he joined, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission. And at one point, now I come to this. Advaita Acharya's father died, and they have, the Brahmanas, who are following, like Smarta Brahmanas, or people who are like really into this. In one sense, Advaita Acharya was leader of the Smarta Brahmanas, Smarta community, in one sense. So everybody was listening to him. So at the Shraddha Titi, there's a specific time, when it's very auspicious, for the sake of one's father. And that also Prabhupada taught us, that we don't necessarily have to do this Shraddha rite called Pinda to offer, this rice bowl, and do these things, and all go to Gaudiya. I mean, if you just serve the Brahmanas, because there is one pastime also which tell that if you just serve the Brahmanas, then Lord Vishnu is eating through that Brahmana. In that way, Lord Vishnu is happy, and he gives the blessing, so the father will be, taking good care of you. So he will not suffer in the Pitri Loka. Yeah. Pitri Loka is the place where, the dead forefathers are going. Yeah. To get, their judgment. But if, their son is becoming a devotee, then they are released from there. They don't have to go to hell. That's the point. So they had, a big feast. On such occasions, Shraddha Titi, in this community, then they used to have, they invite hundreds of Brahmanas. They come and eat. And in such, functions, usually they select the first Brahmana who is going to take the prasad, yeah? Like, the one who is most learned, most advanced, So many Brahmanas, they thought, maybe it's going to be me, they used to, this was common, so they used to, be called forward to have the first plate, the Shraddha Patra, Mukhya Shraddha Patra to be the first one, So they were like kind of anticipating, okay, who's going to be this Brahmana, maybe myself, or, maybe one of the other, great, learned scholars, advanced, spiritualists. But Advaita Acharya, he just said, where is Haridas Thakur? And Haridas Thakur is very humble. He didn't go into the Jagannath Puri temple. He said, no, I'm coming from the lower family. I'm not deserved to go in. And in the same way, he didn't enter there. So Advaita Acharya asked, please go and find him. He was outside the house, and they just dragged him in.
It's too much.
They just dragged Haridas Thakur in. Reluctantly, Haridas Thakur was taken into the assembly and put on the highest, seat, elevated seat, and he was giving, the Shraddha Patra, the first prasadam, and the brahmanas, they just protested, what is going on? This person is, from the low meat eater family, because Haridas Thakur came from, the Muslim background. They were eating meat. Of course, Haridas Thakur, he didn't eat meat anymore since he started chanting Hare Krishna. And Haridas Thakur himself, he was crying because he felt, so ashamed, So he said, why are you doing this? I'm such a fallen person. Why are you putting me on the high seat? But then Advaita Acharya said, by feeding you, I'm feeding millions of brahmanas. And then he was pulling out this verse, what is that verse again? It's a famous verse also, which says, that if you feed, even a person from a dog-eater family, if he's a Vaishnava, he's better than even a person who was born in, Name Bhaktas Chaturvedi. We have a Chaturvedi, one who knows the 4 Vedas. If he's not my devotee, then Mat Bhakta Svapacha Priya. A devotee who comes from the dog-eater family is more dear to me. This is Krishna speaking. Yeah. Even though a person is born in a family of dog-eaters, he is very dear to me if he is a pure devotee who has no motive to enjoy fruitive activities or mental speculation. Indeed, all respect should be given to him, and whatever he offers should be accepted. Such devotees are as worshipable as I am. So Advaita Acharya, he said that verse. And in that way, he very much honored Haridas Thakur. Actually, it's said that actually he gave initiation to Haridas Thakur. They are not so sure actually if it was Diksha initiation. I don't think he got but he gave him, Shiksha, instructions at least. And so actually, Advaita Acharya, when he met Haridas Thakur, he trained up Haridas Thakur to become, a part of, the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Sangha. So he trained him up in Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, and like that. And so in the same way, he arranged to honor Haridas Thakur very much. And also, Advaita Acharya was so kind to Haridas Thakur. You know what he did? He made a cave for him, where Haridas Thakur could sit and do his chanting, because Haridas Thakur is known as Namacharya. He was instructed by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to do this as his main business. How many names he chanted every day? I think it was 300 lakhs. 3 lakhs. Yeah, 300,000. Yeah, 1 lakh is 100,000. So 300,000 names every day, and that amounts to something like 170 rounds or something. Yeah, a lot of rounds. But I saw somebody calculate it. It can be done in 18 hours a day. You can chant that amount of rounds. Yeah.
24.
Yeah, almost 24 hours a day. Yeah. So it's possible. It's physically possible. So he did that. So Advaita Acharya, in other words, he was very, very, outside. He was very free thinking. He honored the person who was a devotee. He didn't care about which family he's born or like that. And there is a few stories also which show how free he was. He was only caring about the pure devotion. So we have this famous story that I told Advaita Acharya, he was just as old as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's father. Yeah, he was born the same year. So he was 50 years older than Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he naturally just was very much respecting Advaita Acharya. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was bowing down to him, serving him, and Advaita Acharya was not happy with that. He said, I came here to worship Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. I didn't came here to be worshipped by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Something wrong. So in that way, he devised a plan by which he would be put in the inferior position, where he would be more happy, because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu treated Advaita Acharya as an superior. Yeah. So then he was thinking, and he understood. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu specifically. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was very heavy against the Mayavadis. A few places, if you read in Chaitanya Charitamrita, he's blasting the Mayavadis like anything. He says that Mayavadi Krishna Aparadi, they're offenders to Krishna. Yeah. So Mayavadi means, they're not accepting actually the Vedas as they're supposed to be accepted. They say that we all actually, one. We were all part of Brahman, and there is no such thing as Krishna actually. According to their philosophy, we're all just Brahman, and all the distinctions, that's Maya. Yeah, that's why they're called Mayavadis, the Maya doctrine. It's actually a form of Buddhism actually. It was Buddhism when it was integrated with the Vedic scriptures, then it became Mayavadi. Yeah. And Vaishnava is completely opposite. We are spiritual persons. We have always been spiritual persons, and we will also be at a liberated stage. Muktir hitvatva anyatarupam svarupena vyavastiti. Because this is according to the conclusion of Srimad Bhagavatam. We are having a spiritual body as, liberated persons. The Mayavadis, they say that, the body is ceasing to function, and we just merge. Our identity will be wiped out. That's what Mayavadi is saying. So he was very against this Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So then Advaita Acharya, he understood how I can make Chaitanya Mahaprabhu very angry at me. Because if somebody reprimand you, this is an interesting philosophical concept. If somebody reprimand you and tell you you're a fool or something like that, then that person cannot be your inferior, right? Because then the roles are changed. Mm-hmm. If somebody is chastising you, then you are the inferior, right? Nobody is chastising a superior. So that's the Vaishnava etiquette. One shouldn't chastise one's guru, for example. Then you don't have that relationship anymore, at least. So in that way, if some or other Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would reprimand and chastise Advaita Acharya, then Advaita Acharya would be happy, because then he would be naturally the inferior in the relationship. Then it will be established, and you cannot change it after that, actually. Then it's enough. So that way, what happened? Advaita Acharya, he found out, I will now start giving classes on Yoga Vasishta. So Yoga Vasishta is a book which Mayavadis are cherishing. It talks about absolute truth being Brahman, impersonal. It's the absolute way, and the way to realize Brahman, to realize one's Brahmatva, that one is Brahman oneself. One has to have the knowledge. Knowledge is the way, not bhakti. Yeah. According to Mayavadi, philosophy from that book. So he started preaching that, and then rumors started going around. Advaita Acharya is now teaching Yoga Vasishta, impersonalist philosophy, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu became, furious, and he brought with him Nityananda Prabhu to find him out, And he burst into the assembly, when he was giving the class, and he said, he challenged him, what are you doing? Are you teaching Mayavad philosophy? And he just challenged him, which is the best, devotional service or jnana? And then Vaitacharya, he said, jnana is the best. Jnana is higher than bhakti. Only by jnana you can actually get to know the knowledge and be liberated. And he said, bhakti is dependent on jnana. He just talked according to Mayavad philosophy. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu became so angry, so he jumped on him while he was sitting there giving he pulled him down from the speaker's seat, from the Vyasasana, and he started beating his back. And if a little bit about we're not even talking about Vaishnava culture, just Hindu culture, just culture in general. The Brahmana is not supposed to be physically, attacked. That's the great, offense. Okay, if the Brahmana is bad, one may, he may be, put into place, but not physically. Physically harm a Brahmana is very, very sinful. So the wife of Advaita Acharya, Sita Thakurani, she came and tried to stop him. See, he's a Brahmana. What are you doing? You will get very bad, sinful reaction from this. This is Leela, This thing can only go on because it's Supreme Personality of God that is doing this. And actually it was, Advaita Acharya's wish. So Advaita Acharya was really enjoying so much the beating from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He said, this is nectar, to be beaten by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He was completely in ecstasy. Actually, Advaita Acharya was just smiling and laughing, and he said, now finally I'm beaten by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Now I'm finally accepted as an inferior servant. And then after some time, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he woke up, he understand, he said, Advaita, you tricked me. But, then it was too late, so then, Advaita Acharya was very happy. Yeah. And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he said, okay, please ask me for some blessing now. I'll give you my blessing. And then Advaita Acharya says, okay, I ask you. Actually, I don't need any blessing. You already gave me your blessing now by beating me. I'm very happy now. You put me in my right position. Now I'm your, inferior servant. I got all the blessing I need. But for other people, I ask now for blessing. For all the people who are born in a low family, all the people who are like, outcast, or all the people who are less intelligent and like that, all these people, please give them Krishna Prema. Please give them the path of Bhakti Yoga. But don't give this path of Bhakti Yoga to those who are great scholars, wealthy people, or those who are interested in sense gratification and like that, who are proud. Those proud scholars, proud wealthy people, don't give them Krishna Bhakti. Or those who are offensive to devotees. So Advaita Acharya said, don't give Krishna Bhakti to them, but give Krishna Bhakti to all these low-born people, poor people who doesn't have any knowledge, who doesn't have culture, who is less intelligent. Give Krishna Bhakti to them. But don't give them to these great, scholars who are proud or are offensive to the devotees. And that's actually what we're seeing today is really happening. Usually these great scholars like that we see all over the world, they're not interested in Krishna Bhakti because they're so proud. And they're not getting that. Yeah, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is not giving them, that. But he's giving very much to the poor people who are low-born, less intelligent, unfortunate, in their lives. These people, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is indeed giving, That's why it's called Patita Pavana. The only thing is required is the humility and not to be proud and offensive to other devotees. Then we are all given the path of Bhakti Yoga, the devotional service to Krishna. So this, we are living on the mercy of Advaita Acharya, really. We are really doing that. Yeah, so let's see how far did we get. Okay, so we can speak so much more. We could go on for 2 hours, but I'll just stop there. Since now I think we already went on for 1 hour. Yeah. But I will just stop to ask for comments or questions. Yeah. Yeah. So did it make sense what I was speaking about, or anything was unclear?
Very interesting.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah. Advaita Acharya is such a massive personality. He really needs to be studied. Because, we always hear, Advaita Acharya here, Advaita Acharya there, but what do we know about him, If you study him a little bit, we'll actually understand how great impact he has. He's the forefather for the whole Gaudiya Vaishnava mission. Why it's called Gaudiya? Because it happened in the Gauda Desh. This district has many names. It's called Nadia, it's called, Navadvip is also called Gauda. Yeah. So the whole Gaudiya Vaishnava, it was springing up there. This was a community who started, this type of Vaishnavism, coming from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In Advaita Acharya is central because he was the mastermind behind who called him to come. Yeah. And he had all the knowledge already. That's the point. So Advaita Acharya already had the knowledge that the Lord is supposed to appear in the Kaliva as the hidden Chana avatar, as his own devotee. Advaita Acharya already had the knowledge. And he was the only one who really, one of the few who actually had this great, knowledge. And he had also, he gave, the whole, scriptural culture, he had it already prepared, It was Srimad, Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita. These are the two books to be studied. He made it very easy. That's why in our line, Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita is the main books. And then, of course, we have after that the whole Gaudiya Vaishnava literature. And the book which is most hailed as the most, you can say, the greatest compendium of all the teachings is Chaitanya Charitamrita. So these 3 books, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was, Srila Prabhupada in the line of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was especially, translating that book, Chaitanya Charitamrita. So that's why we read first Bhagavad Gita and then Srimad Bhagavatam and then Chaitanya Charitamrita, because Chaitanya Charitamrita represents the prayojana, or the actual goal. Bhagavatam is the Abhideya, or the practice, and Bhagavad Gita is the ABC, the Sambandha. So all this was given by Advaita Acharya. Yeah, and just a few more information. Like when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was beating Advaita Acharya, because Advaita Acharya was speaking Mayavad philosophy. Then actually Advaita Acharya he also was told by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told him, actually, you called me to come. He called actually Advaita Acharya at that point. He called him Nada. He said, Nada, you called me to come here to inaugurate the Harinam Sankirtan movement, and now you yourself are speaking Mayavad philosophy. What is this? So like that. So actually there are many stories with Advaita Acharya. We can mention that already. I mean, it could be mentioned in the end, but we can mention it already. That Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he had his pastimes. It's divided into 3 parts. Yeah? As we have the 3 books, yeah, Adi Lila, Madhya Lila, and Antya Lila. So the Adi Lila of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is 24 years. Yeah, that's why when he was young he got married like that, and then he took sannyas at 24. Yeah. So then the Madhya Lila is the 12 years, first years, and the 12 last years is the Antya Lila. Yeah. So in the Antya Lila, then actually Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is not preaching that much, traveling around preaching. He's mostly staying in Puri, yeah, Jagannath Puri. He has his more internal Lila. And then he doesn't has so many associates also. He's associating with Gadadhar Pandit and with Swarup Damodar, yeah, maybe a few others. Advaita Acharya was also always there actually. It said Advaita Acharya, he was living after Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took sannyas. Then in the rainy season, Advaita Acharya he lived at Puri, yeah, to be close to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So when Advaita Acharya understood, now actually Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has accomplished his mission. He has spread the Sankirtan movement is rolling, is going on. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had so many disciples. He empowered them to preach, and they spread all over. Especially Nityananda Prabhu, he has like a whole branch of followers, disciples, and disciples of the disciples. Actually, that's also mentioned in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. You have like the tree of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. It's the beginning of Adi Lila. So who is the main trunk? That's Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and the first branch is Nityananda Prabhu. Who is the second branch? Advaita Acharya, correct? Yeah, like that. So in different pastimes of the Lord, this is the amazing thing about when the Lord has his avatars and leelas. He takes hints. He is called to come by a devotee, and he also takes hint from his devotee when he's going to go. This is amazing actually, because he's so absorbed in his own pastime. He needs to get some hint from another devotee that okay, now soon you have to go. And who was that person who was telling Chaitanya Mahaprabhu when it was time to wind up the pastime? Advaita Acharya. Advaita Acharya, he made Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appear, and also he made Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wind up and go back. How is the story again? Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
He gave the timing.
He gave the timing exactly. So he gave a letter. So he wrote he sent a letter with Jagannanandan Pandit, I think. Jagannanandan Pandit was sent to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. For some reason I don't remember why. Yeah, to give some nice message or. Yeah, I don't remember why it was sent, but anyway. He was. But Advaita Acharya, he was there, and he gave him that a little letter, like in a poem. That poem is going like something like that. How is it going in? The marketplace, have gotten now. All the stores, they already have enough supply of the rice. Yeah. All the shops, they have, there's enough supply of rice there, so there is no longer any more need to supply any more. Yeah. That was the, cryptic message which Chaitanya Mahaprabhu got from Advaita Acharya by the letter. And nobody else understood what does this mean, But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu understood, and Swarup Damodar also understood. And when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu he read that letter, he became even more ecstatic. It just intensified, his ecstasy. Yeah. So what it means, and then he said, this, and he also wrote, part of that letter was, which he said, this is a message from a madman to another madman. Yeah. So he called Chaitanya Mahaprabhu a madman. And he said, this is also from a madman. So, in other words, the ecstasy of chanting the holy names had made Advaita Acharya mad, and it also had made Chaitanya Mahaprabhu mad. So they were both, mad in ecstasy, enjoying, the waves of Krishna Prema. And, all the stores, they have enough supply of rice, so that it has been spread enough now. There is no need to spread it anymore. So in other words, your mission has now been accomplished. Now it's time to, go back, because there's no need to spread anymore your mission. So shortly after that, then actually Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is leaving this world. Yeah. So Advaita Acharya is the cause of his both coming and leaving. Yeah. Actually, it's also actually said. How was that again? Yeah, actually the father, just a footnote, how did Advaita Acharya come, There was somebody also praying for Advaita Acharya to come, actually. The father of Advaita Acharya, Kuber Pandit, he prayed to Sadashiva, father of Advaita Acharya. He prayed, please, can you please arrange for a son, He had already, he had nine, children before, but some of them died, and some of them, they just became, renunciates, and they just left, So he was praying, please, I want a son who is like you, Shiva. I want a son, of the same quality as you. Please come, as you know. And then, Sadashiva appeared, actually, and he said, I cannot, you cannot have somebody who is like me. I'm unique. Sadashiva explained to Kuber Pandit. But if you want, I can come myself. So then, Kuber Pandit said, yes, okay, you can come yourself. In that way, he came as Advaita Acharya. Yeah. Actually, that reminds me of another pastime. The usual thing is that, in the Vedic culture, somebody takes sannyas. The parents, they don't see that child again, okay? Today, in Iskcon, sannyasis, they visit their mother every now and then. Because, we are living in a modern culture, one can't just, break all the... I mean, it's still accepted you can do. In India, still, they understand. But, it's not really always advised to be like that. Also, as brahmachari, was like that. Just to break with the family. But I heard that brahmacharis, when they were living at the Gurukul, then the parents, they could come to the Gurukul and visit them. They could do. But not all the way around. Brahmachari couldn't come home and visit the parents. So anyway, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he had a brother. What was the elder brother of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? Vishvarupa, yeah? So guess what? Vishvarupa also from the childhood, he was going also to the classes of Advaita Acharya. Advaita Acharya was teaching from Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita. And it inspired, Vishvarupa, elder brother of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, so much. So he also felt like to be renounced, So one day Vishvarupa, he was hearing, that mother and father, that means Jagannath Mishra and his wife, they were discussing, he had to find a wife, for Vishvarupa. She would be Div's wife, that we talked with some families. And then, Vishvarupa, he heard that, like, okay, what's going on here? And he just, next day he had just went away and took sannyas, just to save himself from the family life. And of course, they were, the mother and father of Vishvarupa, they were so, despondent by that, so unhappy, And so when they saw that now Chaitanya Mahaprabhu started going to the classes of Advaita Acharya, and was very eager and interested and going every day, and they thought, this is not good. This Advaita is not, a good fellow. They're probably going to make a sannyasi out of, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also. So actually, Sachi, that's the mother of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, yeah? Sachi. Sometimes we sing, Jaya Sachi Nandana, Jaya Sachi Nandana. So Nandana means dear son, dear son of Sachi. That's not the name of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Mother Sachi, she was very, she wanted to protect, Nimai Pandit, her son Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So she was thinking for herself. She didn't say anything. She was just thinking for herself that this Advaita, he's not actually Advaita. He's Dvaita. Because he's dividing people. He took away my one son, now he's going to take away, or he make division in our family. He's not a nice person. And how is this again? Yeah, so then later when there is this pastime that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu he's just a few days later, Chaitanya has these pastimes where he's telling the devotee, you will go back to God, and you also will go back to God, you also will go back to God. Very ecstatic, pastime with his disciples. You are liberated, you are a pure devotee, and then, but what about your mother? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, what about, Sakshi Mata? She's always cooking, wonderful prasad for all of us, she's the mother, of the universe, What about your mother, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? She will not go back to God. She will not get Krishna Prema. What? No, because she offended my devotee. She offended Advaita Acharya. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mood changed completely and became very, sober and, serious. And then the devotees just went to Sachimata and they said, please beg for forgiveness, Beg for forgiveness from Advaita Acharya. Just touch his feet, and take the dust on your head, Just do it, come on, And then they went to Advaita Acharya. Also was one group of devotees. This is how Vaishnavas work. They want to help, It's not like if somebody is condemned and everybody says, yeah, you deserve it. No, devotees are very soft-hearted. They want to help somebody if they're, in a difficult situation. So one part of the devotees went to Sachimata, tried to convince her, please, beg for forgiveness. And one part of the devotees went to Advaita Acharya, and they asked Advaita Acharya, please forgive Sachimata. Yeah? And Advaita Acharya said, me forgiving her, she's the mother of the universe, she's my guru and everything, and actually it's explained that just by their talking like that, that they mentioned just the name of Sachimata, the mother of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Advaita Acharya, he went into an ecstasy. So he just became completely ecstatic and like that, and then he just fainted out of the ecstasy, Advaita Acharya. So then he was just lying flat with his feet, available. So then the other group of those said, come on, Sachimata, come on, now is your chance, and now you can get the dust and take on your head, and then you will be forgiven for the offense, Because if Advaita Acharya is conscious, he will not allow you to take the dust from his feet. So now you have the chance, And so Sachimata, she took the opportunity, and just took the dust of Advaita Acharya's feet on her head. And when she did that, guess what happened with her? She fainted. Yes. So then she fainted, So Advaita Acharya was lying, unconscious, and she was also unconscious. So in that way, it was all fine, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saw this, it's all good, So it just shows, the great mercy of the devotees. Very sweet pastimes. So thank you so much. Any comments or questions? Yeah. Yeah.
If I could faint. It's awesome.
Yeah, it would be nice to faint in ecstasy. Yeah, you just have to join, the Chaitanya Lila. It's actually said that devotees, we are here now in the Kali Yuga, we cannot join directly the Krishna Lila. You know that, yeah? We cannot, even though we aspire, we become no, we have to first join the Chaitanya Lila, and then after being in Chaitanya Lila, we become so purified that then after that we can join the Krishna Lila. So our gateway to Krishna Lila is through Chaitanya Lila. Yeah. special, arrangement for us who are, in this situation here in the Gaudiya. So that's why, this is really our movement, the Sankirtan movement, to chant the whole name, preach, the Krishna Katha, in that way, be growing as a devotee, and manifest, the ecstatic symptoms of Krishna Bhakti. Yeah. So actually this story about Shantipur, how was it starting again? It was, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he had just taken sannyas, right? And he was ecstatic and he wanted to go to Vrindavan. Very often Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he kind of went into a trance, of ecstasy. And he couldn't really distinguish what was going on, in the external world. Yeah. See, he was going, in ecstasy, just chanting Hare Krishna like that. And then Advaita Acharya actually wanted him to come and visit his house in Shantipur. And so he asked Nityananda Prabhu to fool him, right? So he was just walking by Nityananda Prabhu says, here is the way to Vrindavan. He just took him by the Ganga, yeah? But he actually took him in the direction of Advaita Acharya's house. And then Advaita Acharya, he came from the other side, because Advaita Acharya's house in Shantipur was by the Ganga, right? So he took his boat over, and then, you're going now, to Vrindavan. He told him that it was Yamuna instead of Ganga, right? Nityananda Prabhu, he fooled him. So then suddenly Advaita Acharya was there waiting with the boat, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was, Advaita Acharya is here. Are you now in Vrindavan? And then Advaita Acharya said the famous quote, wherever you are is Vrindavan. That was Advaita Acharya's quote. And Advaita Acharya was like smiling and very happy, and please come on the boat and accept prasadam in my house. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was like, okay, you fooled me, but okay, yeah.
I heard with a rumor about it, I think it's said in Samhita that actually at that place where Advaita Acharya came, actually Yamuna is flowing there, because they meet.
Yeah, there is a confluence of the two rivers.
The two rivers meet there, and on that side Yamuna is actually going. So it wasn't really a lie.
No, it was like a white lie. Yeah. Because of course, what they wanted to impress him with was that he was in Vrindavan, because there the Yamuna river is. Yeah, but it's true. It wasn't actually a lie. Yeah. Yeah. So that's good. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, he wanted to be a renounced person like sannyas. So Advaita Acharya, he just tried to convince him to come. He said, I'm just a poor brahmana. I can just offer you some rice and some vegetables, just a simple, lunch. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, okay, I can come and have some simple lunch. And then when he came to the house of Advaita Acharya, what did he see? On the altar of Advaita Acharya, he had his own, little temple. He put like hundreds of pots, with different vegetable preparations, different types of, sweets, dal, rice, and savories, all kinds of things. It was hundreds of preparations. And in that way, and Nityananda Prabhu was also there, so he made them sit, So here's your place, here's Nityananda Prabhu's place. And he was just starting to serve them. At that time, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had been with Nityananda Prabhu, traveling all the way from Katwa, because that's where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took sannyas, apparently. So that was like a 3 days walk away. So they had been, traveling for 3 days. So Nityananda Prabhu, he was not so impressed, by the menu, although it was a huge menu, but he was actually saying in joking mood. He was just teasing Advaita Acharya. He said, I've been traveling now I haven't eaten for 3 days, and you have only this to offer me? This is not sufficient, I'm very hungry. and Advaita Acharya said, I'm a poor brahmin, please just take what I can offer you. And then they started to give him so much prasadam, and they were sitting down, after having eaten for a long time, Then Nityananda Prabhu, he raised himself up and said, this food is not, has not satisfied me. I'm still hungry. And he took some rice in his hand and he was just throwing on Advaita Acharya. And when the rice from Nityananda Prabhu's hands was touching, the body of Advaita Acharya just jumped up and started dancing in ecstasy. I mean, the part of the story, if I'm not wrong, is actually that he even lost, his dhoti. Yeah, that's just a detail. Yeah, so and then Nityananda Prabhu said, you are now making offense to the prasadam, because he was also stepping on the rice, while dancing. You are making offense to the prasadam, my dear, Advaita Acharya. Because of this offense, you have to feed 100 sannyasis to be relieved of this, offense. And Advaita Acharya replied, I will never invite another sannyasi to my house. Yeah. So these are some of the pastimes. So Advaita Acharya, he was in his lila as Advaita Acharya, he was sometimes imitating the smarta brahmana, but at the same time he showed how by contact with Nityananda Prabhu he was relieved from the smarta brahmana mood, because if you know about smarta brahmana, this kind of way of Hinduism, very much into everything should be very according to the rules and very brahminical and like that. But Advaita Acharya was showing that when you are in touch with the Supreme Godhead in his lila like that, then it transgresses all of these things. These things are no longer important. So in that way, Advaita Acharya shows the higher mood of devotional service, really. Not bound by these limitations. Yeah. So in one sense, Advaita Acharya's contribution is simply just to get Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to come here to show the highest kind of devotional ecstasy possible, which has not been shown before. Namo Mahabodhanyaya Krishna Prem Pradaya Te Krishna Krishna Chaitanya Namna Gaura Tvishna. Is that the verse where it said, it's another verse by Rupa Goswami, it says this has not been given before. The mood of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is new. So in that way, it is a progression actually of Krishna's ecstasy to come as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he is inviting everybody to enjoy that. So it's most significant. So it said those people who are very, very lucky, they can, get this. But at the same time, if one is unlucky, one will look on Advaita Acharya, with mundane eyes. It's many people who do this because of the Yogamaya and Mahamaya is working all the time here in this material world. If we are lucky, we come under the Yogamaya, and then we can actually enjoy, to be part of the Chaitanya Lila. If we come under the Mahamaya, the material illusory energy, then we will become like a learned academic scholar and just look on everything from the mundane point of view. And then we will miss out on this ecstasy actually. So there is also a great example there in Chaitanya Lila. There was this secretary of Advaita Acharya, Kamala. What was his name? Kamala Kanta Vishvasa. Kamala Kanta Vishvasa. So at one point, he was doing service to Advaita Acharya like a secretary, of writing and sometimes some official, letters, like just managing, life. So he was writing. He was forwarding, a request to Maharaj Prataparudra, who was, the king of Puri, right? Yeah. Some or other Advaita Acharya, he was supposed to have a debt of 300,000 rupees to the king. So he wrote, the letter that please can you liquidate. First he was explaining, Advaita Acharya is the incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Mahavishnu. Can you please liquidate this debt of 300,000 rupees? And so some or other Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saw that note, and he became furious, and he just, blasted, Kamala Kanta Vishvasa. He said, I don't want to see him again. Because, you cannot, you cannot say that the Supreme Personality of Godhead, can have, mundane debt. If he actually is the Lord, he cannot have a debt. But later, actually, after some time, then actually Advaita Acharya heard about this, and then Advaita Acharya came and said to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he said, you punished me very nicely, you beat me up because I was preaching Mayavad philosophy. So I got a lot of mercy from you, but you gave even more mercy to Kamala Kanta Vishvarsha because he cannot even see you. So he got even more punished. So he got actually more mercy than you gave to me. So in an indirect way, he just actually, asked Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, please, can you forgive him, And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu forgave him. He said, it was actually very good. He recognized that you are, the incarnation of the Lord. But at the same time, nobody should mix up the things. This is called, what is it called? It's called, what do you call this? You mix up the rasas. Rasa basa, No, you should always, respect the incarnations of the Lord. You cannot, say that they have any mundane, depth or anything like that. It's completely, off. This is very mind-boggling for us. How can we understand this? But this is how it is in the material world. When we always get a chance from, the material energy to think that it's just mundane, it's not real, like that. So one needs to have this shraddha, and one needs to be in contact with the devotee to actually get to the transcendental platform and take part in the yogamaya, activities. Daivim prakritim ashrita. Yeah. To have a shelter of Daivi prakriti, then one actually is saved, from the mundane viewpoints. Yeah. So just some interesting, stories we have there. Any comments to that? Is it correct, my understanding of the pastimes? I don't give my understanding really. I just repeat whatever I heard from the books and from the acharyas. Yeah. So no, it's tattva needs to be sometimes discussed. Because otherwise when we hear all these pastimes, we think, what is this? What is this? But when we have the tattva there, then we can actually understand deeper. Because Advaita Acharya is at the same time Mahavishnu and Sadashiva. And Shiva himself has also been criticized because he also do very uncommon activities. And people think, this Shiva, how can he be, the incarnation of the Lord? But he's also the incarnation of the Lord. So in that way, Advaita Acharya is a very special character and a very special person. But he fits perfectly into Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's ecstatic lila. In the same way as Nityananda Prabhu is a very, also special person in Chaitanya lila. He's also, actually, Nityananda Prabhu is in many ways quite the opposite because he's complete avadut, Nityananda Prabhu. Yeah. He's doing very uncommon things. We'll not get into this, but Advaita Acharya on his side is actually very much like, he's coming from the background of being a very proper Brahmana. He was the most respected person in the whole Brahmana community. But the point that Advaita Acharya is showing, he was following all the rules perfectly, had all the knowledge. But after, he got touched by the ecstatic, Krishna Prema of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, then he actually changed. And he became also, as he said himself, like a madman. So this just shows a very nice example that it's allowed, even though one is a great scholar, great Brahmana, everything is there, it's allowed to be ecstatic. Yeah, it's actually the higher level. But it has to be still, according to the tattvas. It's following in the line of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. It's still scientific. How to actually, behave in this, scenario of devotional ecstasy. So it's not going outside the framework, right? Advaita Acharya was behaving inside the framework. Also Nityananda Prabhu. They didn't deviate from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu for 1 second. And when Advaita Acharya played that role that he was deviating, immediately Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was on his case and beat him. It's just showing, that as devotees we must be in the line, and if we get some, wrong idea like that, then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu he will beat us. But still, that will be very much mercy, which will purify us. Yeah. So is Advaita Acharya still here with us now? What is your understanding? Was it just in the past, or is it still here? He's still there. In what way? Yeah. Whenever we chant. Yeah. Whenever we pray. Yeah. Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar. Yeah. He's there in his name. Yeah. Because he's Vishnu Tattva. All the Vishnu Tattvas, they are there directly in the name. That's another interesting thing about Pancha Tattva. I didn't mention much about the Pancha Tattva because I decided to change it and just speak about Advaita Acharya as per your suggestion. We can mention about the Pancha Tattva very easily, very simply, that 3 of the Pancha Tattva, they are Vishnu Tattva, and 2 of them are Shakti or his energies. So the energies of the Lord on the altar, they will always stand on the left side, yeah, because the energy of Vishnu is always on the left. So when you have Lakshmi Narayan, Lakshmi will always be on the left side, yeah, like you have Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman. So Sita will be on the left side, and on the right side, his Vishnu Tattva expansion Lakshman will always be on the right side. Yeah. So on the Pancha Tattva you have Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the middle, and who is to the right side? Of course Nityananda and Advaita Acharya. He will be on the right side.
You can only back.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Anyway, I don't mind my fingers. Yeah.
But
So
say right side, it will be like
yeah, to the right side of the Lord. Yeah.
he's on the left side from what we see. Chaitanya there, left side is. Oh, so on the right side of Lord Chaitanya.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah. You can see all the pictures. They know this. I'm just looking at this picture now. Do you see on the picture there, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? To the right side of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Nityananda in the blue,
On the left.
and then Advaita Acharya. Yeah.
On the left.
Yeah, and on the left side is Gadadhar and Shrivas. Shrivas is just a jiva. Yeah. So you have Gora Nitai. So Gora is having Nityananda on his right side. But then the first deities before Gora Nitai, it said was Gora Gadadhar. And Gadadhar, he's actually on the left side. Because Gadadhar is, the Shakti of Srimad Radharani. Yeah, it's the Lord Shakti. So just, interesting to see. So in that way, as long as the Lord is here, then, Nityananda will also be there, and also Advaita Acharya, and also his Shaktis will also be there. The whole Panchatattva will be there. Yeah. So whenever you have the Lord Chaitanya, you also have Nityananda, Advaita, Gadadhar, and also Shrivas and all the other devotees. They will always be there to worship. Yeah. And in another sense, this is just, one aspect of Advaita Acharya is in everybody was, you can say in one sense, because, he is in the real devotees, you can say, because he was crying for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to appear. And in another sense, the pure devotees, they're always crying, for people to come to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to appear in their life. A devotee is making another devotee by his crying for them. Yep. It's the mercy of Advaita Acharya is still existing. It's the compassion. It's the compassion that Advaita Acharya is showing. It's still prevalent today in all the lives of the devotees who is, you can say, who actually is practicing and is advanced. They have mercy and compassion with the others, so that they also can become devotees by them crying, just like Advaita Acharya was crying. The other devotees are crying, and in that way they're making, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appear there. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is always appearing in the hearts of all these people because of the crying of the more advanced devotees. So in that way, Advaita Acharya is still operating. Yeah, we should never think that Advaita Acharya is not here. It was just something, some history from the past. In the same way, we never think that Nityananda Prabhu is not here, because where is Nityananda Prabhu? He's in the Guru. Yeah, Nityananda Prabhu is he is the Guru. Nityananda Prabhu is the mercy incarnation of the Lord, who initiates people into the spiritual life, like that. Yeah. Yes, Prabhu.
Just a
Yeah.
curiosity.
Yeah.
If there is a murti of the double energies, the double, so Mahavishnu and Shiva, there is a murti combined of the two deities.
There's Murti combined of Mahavishnu and Shiva.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean apart from Advaita Acharya?
Yeah, There's a murti, a special murti that combined the two.
I don't know about that.
Harihara.
But Harihara, isn't that... oh, is that really? Yeah? Is that the Murti? Is that Vishnu and Shiva combined? Yeah, okay. Yeah, it's there in that's there in Navadvip. Yeah, I saw that Murti.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. Yeah, thank you.
What is the name?
Harihara. Yeah. Harihara
Okay.
deity. Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's not too many of these. I only heard about that specific one, Murti. Yeah.
It's unique.
It's unique, yeah. 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 So thank you so much. Srila Advaita Acharya ki jai.
Jai.